dizziness, and backache are often different and more subtle than for a man. The fact is, heart disease is the #1 killer of women. Know the signs. Learn more at getheartchecked.org. From Women's Heart Alliance, in partnership with Women Heart.
Kids across America are going to school hungry every day. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Lubin's there. He's been a monster on the glass. Cleans it up and scores. Good shot is up. Missed. Hammer time. Put back jam by Lubin. Underneath. Hey. Throws it up into the foul. Van Allen Lubin slithers to the basket and scores in one.
It's the Adam Gold Show. What's going on, everybody? I'm Adam Gold. Van Allen Lubin slithering to the bucket. Love it. We might see that again. Who knows? Man, so many good things to talk about today. The group of players, the class of, I guess, the incoming class of 22, which thought that they would not have a fifth year of eligibility. Remember, the NCAA went to, I should probably introduce everybody. I'm Adam Gold. That's Max Gorn, sitting in for Victoria for a couple of more days. We knew at the end of last season. We're on YouTube, too. I'll get to all of this in a second. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show, or 99.9 The Fan. Either way, you get us in. And you can contribute to the program by putting comments, questions in the chat. We do one-timers. At the end of hour number 1, you can ask anything you like. Doesn't have to be about sports. It can be about anything. You can ask Max about his love for Michael McDonald and Air Supply. You're an Air Supply guy, too?
Air Supply, that's...
No, you're not.
I don't.
You're not.
I feel like maybe I know the song, but I don't know it off the top.
Air Supply is a group. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's a band. It's an act.
Maybe I've heard one of their...
Yeah, don't worry about it. Leo Sayer?
Oh, I know Leo Sayer. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about this 5 years to play 5. That's what the NCAA has decided, and that's good. The NCAA doesn't do a lot of things that we go, hey, that's good. 5 years to play 5. It used to be 5 years to play 4. And then we got into all sorts of shenanigans with injury. You get a 6th year because you were hurt or whatever. Then COVID came into the mix, and you had players who were actually playing or had college eligibility, no kidding, for 8 seasons. We all recognize the madness in that. So the NCAA has basically streamlined it. 5 years to play 5, and there's an age limit with it as well. And when the NCAA made this decision, it's not that long ago, a couple of months, I just went, we're going to have a problem. Said it on the show. We are going to have a problem because the players who, they didn't grandfather anybody in. And so the players in the current who had played 4 years, even though you have 5 years of eligibility, only 4 of them are active. The players who played those 4 years were essentially going to get hosed. And you could say, well, they played their 4, except they just changed the rule. And you know there was going to be a lawsuit. Lo and behold, a lawsuit, and the NCAA lost. Now, they ultimately might win an appeal here. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they win an appeal. But there are, I don't know how many players now. 22 players filed a class action lawsuit and won that suit. They were granted eligibility. by a judge. I think it was in Colorado. And on that list of players, Van Allen Lubin, Darian Williams. And I saw over the weekend, I love Jeff Goodman. Jeff is a friend, Field of 68 guy, dynamite dude. I don't know why he's got such an issue with all of this, but he does, and he has been going hard in the paint. A coach, he quotes a coach anonymously, which I have no problem with. Sometimes this is how you get an idea of how coaches feel. And the coach's quote was, I'm going to paraphrase it here, "Now I have to go out and find more money so we can pay these players, a player, whatever it is, and I'm going to screw people who have done all the work in the summer who will lose playing time." And I have two things on that. The first thing is you don't have to bring that player in. You are not obligated. So I have no idea if Justin Gainey, NC State's coach, is interested. I haven't seen anything where they have brought back Darian Williams or Van Allen Lubin. If they have, I haven't seen it today. I have no clue if Justin Gainey would like to bring back those two players. Hey, those are very good players. I got zero problem if they bring those two guys in. They certainly will not hurt NC State's chances of winning. But there is nothing written that says that Justin Gainey now has to bring these players back. So it's a choice. If you as a coach want to bring these players back and you have room for them on your roster, feel free. Do it. The other element of that is when the coach is like, now I got to go out and find money. Again, you're under no obligation. Just because players can get paid doesn't mean those players must get paid. I'm not suggesting that a player come back and play for free. I'm not saying so you do whatever you want to do. But again, I'll just use NC State basketball as an example. Justin Gainey, let's say he's got a roster spot. And man, we'd love to have Van Allen Lubin. But you know what? All of my NIL money, all of our revenue sharing money is spoken for. I can't take money away from this player because you want to come back. I have a spot. If you wish to play, hey, we can use you. That's not against the rules. It's not against the law to do that. So, all of the anger that coaches are throwing out there absolutely misses me. You are under zero obligation to A, pay a player, unless you have a contract, or B, provide a roster spot. The one thing that is going to get in the way here, and I think ultimately it will be beaten in court, is the clarity on the ruling in Colorado is that if you were not in the transfer portal prior to you leaving, because remember, most, if not all of these players assumed they were leaving, not going to have any eligibility left. I remember Seth Trimble, when this whole thing happened, I'm like, man, there's still an outside chance Seth Trimble could, get a fifth year at Carolina. That won't happen. He played Summer League, and I'm sure he's either going to stick on an NBA roster, he might have a contract for all I know, or he's going to go play overseas. But for the way I look at it, almost all of these players didn't feel like they would be part of college basketball anymore. Some might have entered the transfer portal just in case, and those players will have the freedom to move. But otherwise, they're saying that if you weren't in the portal, you can only go back to the school you were at. What if there's no spot? Like, I do think that ultimately, if those players are granted that fifth year, I believe that a court will also protect them and basically tell the NCAA you can't prevent them from entering the transfer portal. So maybe Will Wade can have a roster at LSU. I have no idea what's going to happen with all this. I am all about player movement. I'm all about what's best for players. It's not that I could care less what's best for schools. I think the player, to me, is the more important entity here. I said at the beginning that 5 years, active in 5 years, you couldn't just arbitrarily decide, well, we're not including this current season, this current class. You had to grandfather that in, and now everybody will understand what the rules are. I'm 100% in favor of that. We did all of that before we actually began. How about that?
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get
all right,
it started.
It wasn't my plan to do that out of the gate. Well, that's an old reference. But so this is what I wanted to talk about even before we started. So I'm going to ask you, Max. Do you think the Carolina Hurricanes have a top 20 NHL winger?
I would say so, but I think the league disagrees. Or maybe NHL Network disagrees, whoever makes that ranking.
Yes, the NHL Network disagreed. They agreed with you and us.
I think Seth Jarvis is a top 20 winger in the NHL.
That would be my choice. He is Carolina's best winger. And, of course, he's going to miss the first at least few months of the season recovering from shoulder surgery. Who is Carolina's second best winger in your estimation?
Probably Andrei Svechnikov.
Oh, I have him down the list. I have Nick Ehlers, too.
Oh, yes, Nick Ehlers.
I have Jackson Blake 3. And then I have Andrei Svechnikov. That's not necessarily a knock on Andrei.
I think Jackson Blake could surpass Andrei Svechnikov this year.
I think Jackson Blake could surpass Nick Ehlers this year, too. I have thought that highly of Jackson Blake since he showed up. I love that player so much.
He could be a 70-point, especially with probably power play one time this year with Jarvis out.
Yep.
I can't imagine they're breaking up the line with Stankoven and Hall, but they might just because of roster shuffling. But definitely more opportunity for him to continue increasing his point and goal totals and everything like that.
By the way, as a quick aside, we will discuss this and other Hurricanes matters of the heart on the Canes Corner podcast tonight. 9:30 is the scheduled hopeful start time on your YouTube somewhere. Just search Canes Corner podcast. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of upside with Jackson Blake as a winger. I agree. Seth Jarvis is one. Nick Ehlers is two. I think Jarvis is a top 20 winger. When you look at some of the wingers that they've got, it's clear that they have done this only based on offensive output.
And yet Brady Tkachuk is on the list and Jarvis is not.
I actually think that if you look, and it's not to say that these guys are not like very, very good, right? There's Lucas Raymond's an excellent player. Cutter Gauthier is an excellent player. Brady Tkachuk's an excellent player. Clayton Keller. Yeah, all these guys are good. I'll take Seth Jarvis over all of those four, right? I would take Seth Jarvis over Martin Necas, too, who comes in at 15. Like, Kyle Connor is 11th. There's no way I would trade Seth Jarvis for Kyle Connor. Zero chance would I do that.
Contract factors into that, too, though.
The Jarvis contract?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
He makes 7.1, and Kyle Connor makes what? Yeah. About to make $13 million, $12 million on his new deal?
Yeah. Kyle Connor is a points guy. That's where it starts and ends, right? There are two ends of the rink. So they mention here in the article that Kyle Connor, hey, Team USA. How many minutes did Kyle Connor play in the Olympics? Not many. Look, the U.S. team was pretty good. So it's easy to miss that team. But he missed the team. Basically, he was on the team but didn't play. And Seth Jarvis, while not selected, ended up playing. Right? Because you know why? Because he's damn good at both ends of the rink. That's why. So I get what they're doing here, and part of it is to stir debate. But Seth Jarvis is a top 20 winger in this league. I don't know what the order that they're going to run these out. My guess, maybe centers are next. Sebastian Aho, a top 20 center in the league?
Yeah, he'll be on that list.
He will. He's always been on these lists. And here's what the best way to say it is that the disappointment of a guy like Jarvis for them not recognizing how good a player he is. They do that with Aho because there is nothing about watching Aho one day that screams he is a top 20 center in the league. The beauty of Sebastian Aho is watching him game in, game out, game in, game out. Everybody that has heard me talk about Aho has heard me use this comparison. He's gumbo. Like that first bite of gumbo, it's good. It's good. It's not spicy. It doesn't really get me. And then you get like halfway through the bowl and you go, holy crap, my mouth's on fire. And that's the thing about Aho.
Those are like the random 4-point nights he'll throw in or 3-game stretches where he has 11 points.
Yeah, well, he certainly has those, right? But I think the beauty of Aho is the consistency of high-quality performance night in, night out. And it bothers me, Canes fans understand this because I snap back at him. It bothers me that people can't recognize that. Did we want Aho to contribute more offensively in the playoffs? Yeah. But the players he was playing against, what did they do offensively? Nothing. He is a two-way player. And sometimes that defensive side of the puck kind of takes precedent over the offense, especially when they're getting scoring from Stankoven, Blake, and Hall like they were. Sebastian had an excellent postseason. It just wasn't excellent in the way we measure excellence from, theoretically, offensive players.
I think it's just because every other playoff year of his has been so good offensively in point production that it seemed like a drop-off by comparison.
Well,
but really,
he wasn't great offensively. He had about, he had 2 empty net goals, I know it, to end the Ottawa series. But he just played at a high level on both ends of the rink. And we forget the defensive side of it, which is, again, when you look at Jarvis, he's an excellent defensive player as well. So that's Aho will be in the top 20. The other thing is that we have, everybody's got, in your top 6, every team's got 4 wingers and 2 centers. And Aho is a number 1 center. He'll be, my guess is Sebastian Aho will probably come in about 14th in the NHL among centers. And I'm not saying he's better than that or not, but I think he'll probably come in around 14th. I think the real fun will be when we get to defense and Jacob Slavin is on the list, maybe based on reputation.
Yep, I was thinking the same thing.
And Keandre Miller will not be on that list. And I think Keandre Miller right now is at least as good as Jacob Slavin. At least. Who knows what I think he's going to be. To me, he looks a lot more like Slavin than he looks like somebody, like another defenseman in the league. Like, he can be physical, and Slavin really never plays that way. Occasionally, when Jacob Slavin delivers a hit, you go, whoa, holy cow, what was that? Yeah. But Miller had plenty of 5, 6, 7-hit games last year, but his stick work is pretty doggone good. I thought that was fun. We'll discuss that tonight on the Canes Corner podcast. Did baseball end over the weekend, Max? I believe baseball...
No, it kept going because the Red Sox swept the Dodgers.
Quick aside, we're watching a game last night. I've said this before. I'm a huge baseball fan. For many, many reasons, I have not watched much baseball at all this year. The Mets suck. That has something to do with it, right? And I'm a Mets fan first and foremost. Hockey took me to the middle of June. And at that point, when you've been going that hard, like, I started watching the World Cup. That was the only thing I was watching. So I haven't watched a lot of baseball. I have no idea who the Red Sox brought in last night. We were watching the game against the Dodgers. Guerrero, the reliever, 102-mile-an-hour sinker. Get out of here. I need him. I need to hand him a specimen cup right now. 102-mile-an-hour sinker. Get out of here. Looks good to me, although he did give up a run-scoring base hit. And right before that, Aileen, who has become a baseball fan over the years, said, why isn't he pitching inside? Pitch inside. And the guy got the hit. The next batter, sinker inside, pop-up. She said, see? Loved it. Loved every minute about that. Red Sox swept the Dodgers. I didn't think that was allowed. The Dodgers win every game. All right. So the Dodgers get Tariq Skubal yesterday. Or not yesterday. I guess it was Friday?
Saturday night.
Was it Saturday night? The Dodgers got Tariq Skubal, one of the best pitchers in baseball. He has historically, over the last several years, been one of the best pitchers across the league. He hasn't had that type of a year. He's had some injuries. Tigers haven't been as good. And after the trade was announced, here is Skubal reacting to that trade.
The goal was always to win a World Series, for the city, for the organization. That took a chance on me. So, it's tough. I love all those guys in there. They're some of my best friends, and
all right,
that'll be tough for sure.
Super emotional about that. There was a much longer pause in between the last two comments there. It was about 10, 12 seconds of fighting back tears. He didn't want to leave Detroit. That's another issue that we will get to later. And all I saw on social media after that trade was announced was how baseball is going to end. There will be a lockout. Frankly, they were saying it before this trade. Here's Buster Olney answering the question, does it guarantee that the players will be locked out by the owners at the beginning of next season?
Those lines are already drawn, right? Even long before Tariq Skubal was being talked about by the Dodgers in trade, the owners say they want more competitive balance. I think it's more about controlling cost, but that's the reason why they're going for the salary cap. And on the players' side, the leadership is saying we will not allow a salary cap. I think, yes, a lockout of December 1st is inevitable. The question is, will we lose games next spring? It does feel like it's at risk because of the fact there's no middle ground.
All right, so Buster Olney told you what owners are saying and then told you what's up. It is not about competitive balance. Baseball has competitive balance. You can believe it or not, because facts tell you that there is competitive balance in baseball. The Dodgers have only won the last 2 World Series. This system isn't 2 years old, okay? This system is many, many decades old. The Dodgers have won the last 2 World Series. In fact, in the last 15 years, that's it. Throw out the COVID season. Dodgers did win that World Series, but my gosh, there was nothing about that. They played 60 games that year. In the last 15 years, Max, which team has won the most World Series in the last 15 years?
Last 15 years?
Yeah.
That would probably be the Red Sox.
No, 2.
I was thinking back to 04 and 07. Last 15 years, that would be the Giants?
Yes. The Giants, 10, 12, 14.
Well, 2010 wasn't in the last 15 years, though.
No, I counted last 15 seasons because I got rid of the
seasons,
got rid of the COVID season because the COVID season was stupid. The truth is 18 different teams in the last 15 baseball seasons. 18 different teams have made it to the World Series. I don't know. Where I sit, if you're in the World Series, you have a chance to win the World Series, no? I mean, I'm going to guess they allow your team to go out there and compete. So just because you didn't win a World Series, I know it was outside this window. The Rays were in the World Series in 2009, lost to the Phillies. But they were there. And by the way, the Rays have been one of the best teams in baseball consistently for the last 15, 16, 17 years. It's silly how good they have been in spite of having a payroll at or near the bottom of the division. One more thing before there's so many other elements of this. I have three things that I would like to say about the whole idea of a salary cap. This is what Major League... There's not... I mean, is there going to be a salary cap? Baseball doesn't need one. Not to achieve what you think it will achieve. Baseball does have some issues they need to address. You can defer all the contract money you want. Ken Griffey Jr., when he signed with Cincinnati after leaving Seattle, deferred a lot of his salary. But all of that deferred money, that's fine, but it should not impact the luxury tax bill that you pay. So the Dodgers, essentially, Shohei Ohtani's contract's like $70 million a year, but all of it is deferred. And the luxury tax bill for that is about $47 million. That's insane. The luxury tax bill should be $70 million. You shouldn't be able to beat the system twice. A, not paying, because honestly, Shohei Ohtani's going to get way more than $70 million a year from the Dodgers because that money is basically invested. The Dodgers have to share their local television money at the same rate as everybody else does. We'll play a clip for you probably next hour, which demonstrates why the Dodgers, of all teams, do not. And there does have to be some restructuring of the way Major League Baseball contracts are given out early in players' careers, because teams are really using young players like throughout their roster, which is fine, but they're cheap. Young players, like if you're in your first or second or third year, unless you've signed a long-term deal, you're making under $1 million, which these teams, and then they get rid of these players. Teams are cheap because teams are more concerned with profit than they are anything else. And by the way, a lot of these teams right now are winning. As we go to break, do you know how many teams could have traded for Tariq Skubal on Saturday? All of them. Every single one could have traded for Tariq Skubal. They chose not to. That's fine. Your prerogative. But every team could have done the same thing the Dodgers did. They just decided against it. All right, David Hale, ESPN.com. ACC football, not very far off. We'll talk about that next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Don't look now, but the Carolina Panthers are actually, get ready for it, getting some love. There's going to be some hype. There's going to be some expectations this year. Top 5 defensive tackle Derek Brown. Top 100 players, 4 of them. It is time for everybody to gather around and get ready that there might be some high stakes for the Panthers this season.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
August is Sandwich Month, and Easy Cater is rolling out a new surprise deal every week from August 3rd through 30th. That means every order of delicious sandwiches for your team comes with a side of something special just for you. From cheesesteaks and Cubanos to pita pockets and pastrami, Easy Cater makes it easy to bring everyone's favorite sandwiches to work and rack up big rewards while you're at it. New week, new deal, all August long. Visit easycater.com to place your next order and take a bite out of Sandwich Month. Restrictions apply. See offer details at easycater.com.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers.
Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 12th.
Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you, as a police officer, that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
The future depends on teachers. Every day, teachers are shaping our tomorrows, starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who will make preventing pandemics their life's work, sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who will help combat climate change, and generating possibilities for a student who will be the first in their family to graduate college. It all starts with teachers who meet challenges with creativity, who reinvent education for the future, who work towards a school system that lifts up every child, regardless of race, income, or zip code, and to enable the full potential of our students, our communities, and our country. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Okay, all signed up. Easy. Now let's run payroll. What the? Hey girl, I'm you with more gusto. Nice. Who's that? New social media manager, hired and onboarded with gusto. And spoiler, we're kind of famous now. Wait, we're famous? Oh, well, I'm famous. Payroll, benefits, and HR. Designed and built for small businesses. Choose a future with gusto.
This is Adam Gold.
See Bettman take all that time to walk out, then to see the pick bro hug no less than 20 guys on his way up there. And then this draft house, they just moved this wall like the Price is Right. I don't know.
It's a showcase showdown back there.
I know.
That would be great. So we should spin a wheel,
yeah,
right? Exactly.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gore on the ones and twos. I wonder if David Hale from ESPN feels the same way about this that I do. We think, and we bring David Hale in here. I was going to say this before you came on, but I'll just let you join the fun here. I thought as we went home on Friday that the Protect College Sports Act was, basically toe tagged. Thought it was done. And I put out a tweet to that effect because it's been a tough run for the NCAA really the last decade in court. They've been seeking help on Capitol Hill, and I thought that was dead on arrival. And then somehow they changed enough things that the Big Ten and the SEC could approve it, and it's sort of revived again. How much did that change your thought process? Maybe not heading into this season, but based on just what the whole thing is going to look like going forward. Does what happened on Capitol Hill change the way you look at the landscape at all?
Not really. I think look, the likelihood of this becoming law, I think, still is a long shot.
Yes.
That I think what maybe the biggest takeaway from this is I think people really need to start thinking about, like, if this did pass, what would it mean? Like, what would it look like? And that's a question I don't think enough people have done. Like, it's very easy to look around and see the problems right now. It is a much different thing to think about what the solutions are, but not just what the solutions are, but what's solving these specific problems. You plug this hole in the dam, what's the next hole that opens? And this has been the problem that the NCAA has run into again and again and again over the last 5, 6, 7 years, is that they're constantly trying to address the latest thing that they're upset about without addressing the larger issue that is causing all of those problems. And so as soon as you plug one hole, another opens up. You reach the house settlement, and you have rev share, and some of that stuff has been great, but it has just created a whole new set of problems. They were supposed to get a true salary cap and an end to litigation, and what we've got is $50 million rosters and litigation more than we can possibly count. So the problem, I think, on its face is the folks running these programs don't know what they're doing. They are not business people.
Right.
We live in a world in which spending money doesn't make any sense. The whole marketplace of college sports doesn't make sense. And we won't collectively bargain or call these people employees, but we're paying them. You can't have it both ways. And so, to me, have this become law, have it not become law, to me, I think we're not really solving any problems. We're putting Band-Aids on bullet wounds.
David Hale at a David Hale joint on Twitter is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. I heard Tennessee AD Danny White say last week, we're looking for Sherman antitrust protection, and this bill might in some ways provide it, except, and he said this, I don't know that he's a lawyer, but I have talked to lawyers about this, a court will not protect them. In terms of antitrust, which makes me wonder why the heck they keep asking for it. I've joked around with people. I'm not sure the NCAA actually has attorneys on staff. They should. That would be my advice. Would be have an attorney always present, but they do a poor job. Let me ask you about football, because that's really why I wanted to talk to you today. How many ACC teams do you think head into this season thinking that, man, if things go right for us, we can make a playoff?
Realistically, 4 and maybe 3. But I think Miami obviously is in playoff mode, and
Sure.
I think that until something changes financially with them, that is going to be an annual thing. I think SMU and Louisville both look at what they have and say, yeah, the margin for error might not be high, but we have pieces to make a run at a playoff. And then Clemson, it's hard coming off of a 7-6 season in which they lost a bunch of talent to say this is a playoff caliber team. I'm not sure if they are, but I certainly think in the room Clemson is thinking we should be making the playoff. And Dabo is certainly not lowering his expectation from that. And the fact of the matter is Clemson is still outside of the quarterback position, which I admit is the most important position.
Yeah.
But outside of that position, they're more talented than Louisville or SMU is, so there's no reason that they shouldn't be in that conversation.
David Hale from ESPN is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. What do you other than quarterback, and Cade Klubnik was drafted into the National Football League. I think it still counts if you're drafted by the Jets, right? It still count?
Some people say.
Yeah. Other than the performance at quarterback, what do you think has really gotten in Clemson's way over the last several years? Because they put a lot of guys in the NFL.
Yeah, I think there's a few things at play. One is that the world of college football has changed a lot, and what's different for them is really not markedly different than what's different for Alabama. Now, Alabama has not fallen off quite so much, but you've seen the same thing. Heck, even Georgia, I was working on something earlier and looking this up, Georgia, that 2021 to 23 run was insane, and they're still very good, but they're not that anymore. And so we've seen sort of a slow degradation in those teams that were at the top following the blueprint from the 2010s, regressing a little bit. And then when things don't go right, your margin of error, Dabo's always saying, it was a play here and there. Well, yeah, that's how it usually is for teams. And you can't stockpile this level of talent. But I think if you look at the actual on-field product, what has been different? Well, quarterback play has markedly deteriorated. And if you're telling me, your quarterback's not as good as Trevor Lawrence, not a shocker, but they're not even close to as good as Trevor Lawrence lately. They have not gotten the type of receiver play that they had gotten. They were churning out the Mike Williamses and of the world for years, and then that really hasn't happened. And then the defensive front has been markedly different since Brent Venables left. I mean, that was a group that year in and year out, from Vic Beasley through Christian Wilkins, was elite and destroyed opposing offensive linemen on a regular basis. Well, look, they just put 3 defensive linemen in the league in the draft too, but it was not creating the same type of chaos that they had before. And I don't know how much of that, Tom Allen will tell you part of that was they struggled on the back end last year. But they had bad secondaries, not bad, but mediocre secondaries under Brent Venables too. And Brent Venables still said, let me go kill their quarterback.
Right, exactly.
I think that's what Clemson needs to get back to.
I think when we add it all up, we're going to talk about Brent Venables as one of the all-time defensive coordinators, even though...
and rightfully so.
Right. Like his time at Oklahoma, they gave up a ton of points in big games. They gave up thousands and thousands of points, especially in big games. Oklahoma ran roughshod over the Big 12 for a long time, but then he comes to Clemson, and they just dialed up blitz after blitz. I was looking at Louisville's schedule. We're going to find out probably before September is over whether or not Louisville is a legit national championship or a playoff contender. Opening with Ole Miss, they have SMU at home in week 3, a trip to NC State, who I don't think is going to be bad at all. And if they can negotiate that, there are some, at Georgia Tech's not going to be easy, but the schedule really softens up once you get past September. We might be looking at a Louisville team that has a chance to stack some wins if they can be in a good spot when September's over.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. It is a very friendly back half of their schedule. And look, you listed off those games, and I don't think there's any of those 3 that Louisville can't win. But the big difference in all 3 of them is at the quarterback position. You're talking Trinidad Chambliss, Kevin Jennings, and C.J. Bailey. All 3, I think, are in the upper echelon of quarterbacks nationally this year. Well, what is Louisville's QB situation? Lincoln Kienholz has talent. We know that. But how is it going to fit with what Jeff Brom wants to do? How much has he developed as a passer? There's a big roll of the dice. Now, each of the quarterbacks that Jeff Brom had brought in before, whether it was Jack Plummer, T.J. Shuck, to even Miller Moss last year, who was not particularly good, they all had a lot of significant snaps under their belt before they got there. This is a markedly different situation for Lincoln Kienholz, and so there's a lot more mystery around it. If he is, I don't expect he'll be Tyler Shuck. That was a really good quarterback situation for him. But if he's better than Miller Moss, which is not that high of a bar, Louisville was not that far off last year. And again, I think those, if they can get through September with 1 loss, I think you're looking at a playoff team, and I think a playoff team that has a chance to be pretty darn good in the playoffs.
David Hale is joining us here from ESPN. You mentioned C.J. Bailey, so let me ask you about State. I saw David Pollack do a video, and I don't know if for his podcast or just kind of spit videos out, where he thinks that NC State is a 10-win team. Now, they might be, they might not. I'm not going to sit here and say they could be. But the schedule certainly gives them the opportunity. At Virginia, not going to be easy, obviously, to start the season. The game here was a classic. That would have been a fun game if we could have played it just like that to send to Brazil. Brazil would have been all over American football like that because it was nonstop craziness. But at Vanderbilt in week 3, Louisville. But again, like I said about Louisville, after that, the schedule does look like it gets awfully friendly for NC State. Is there an outside chance for them?
There is, and look, I don't know that. I would say honestly, the biggest difference I've seen in NC State is Dave Doran. I was about to say Dave Doran wouldn't want me saying this, but he really seems chill this year, which is a whole different side of Dave Doran. And I don't know whether it's just like he's been here long enough; it's not worth the fight anymore, or he knows he's holding pocket aces and he's not trying to give it away. I will say. Those 3 games you mentioned, it's the opposite of the Louisville thing. NC State's going to have a significant quarterback advantage, in my opinion, in all of those 3 games. The Virginia one is so fascinating to me because I think if you want to build out what is the comparison point for NC State this year, it might be Virginia last year. because there's a lot to like about the team, a veteran quarterback, a team that had been sort of preaching we need to take the next step, and then a schedule that, at least on paper, looked incredibly accommodating. Well, Virginia's schedule is pretty accommodating this year too, again, frankly. But NC State's, I think if you look by ESPN strength of schedule metrics, which take those for what you will, Virginia has the second easiest. The easiest is NC State. And so, look, we've all been down the road of buying into the NC State hype before. I understand the reticence. And frankly, my biggest questions for them come at the line of scrimmage. Like, how good are they on both sides of the line of scrimmage? I think they're above average. We'll see how much above average. And then how healthy can they stay? And this is another thing that Dave has said numerous times when I've talked about him. They have a budget that will allow them to put a very good football team on the field in week 1 every year. What they don't have is a budget that allows them to have the depth to withstand significantly bad injury luck throughout the year. But that's also the upside to another easy schedule. The easier your schedule is, the more blowouts you have, the more you can rest guys, the less they're getting beat up over the course of a season. Sometimes those things, it's not just that it was easier to beat the teams, it's that you preserve your health for another week and another week and another week.
All right, final question for David Hale. And I texted you this question, but I want to ask it on the air. What number is greater, Clemson wins or North Carolina losses?
Can't we just say 10 for both? Like, what's the?
I don't think Clemson's winning 10 times though.
Yeah, no. I tend to think that if Clemson's number is higher than 7 and North Carolina's number is lower than 7, both fan bases will come away being like, oh, worked out better than I was expecting. So I will say, if you're asking me to bet on one to go above expectations, I'll happily take Clemson here. You mentioned the tough start for Louisville. North Carolina has a very tough start, too. Yeah. And when you look at all of the off-field chaos and all of the issues about the culture in that place last year, you start 2-3 again this year, and you have a couple of blowouts like you did last year, and Carolina's looking to get rid of Belichick the first chance that they can. Boy, there's a chance for things to go south mighty quick. And to Carolina's credit, last year they got better as the year went along.
They did.
I am dubious, though. Like, I just don't think they can afford to start badly this year, and the schedule doesn't help with that.
Oh, my gosh. TCU to start in Ireland. At least East Tennessee State in his week 2. At Clemson, Notre Dame, at Pitt, at Duke, Syracuse. I know you like Syracuse. Miami. I mean, my gosh. Who drew up that schedule? That is terrible.
I think it might have been Steve Newmark drew up that schedule so that he can have a new coach next year. Maybe.
Oh my gosh, self-sabotage. David Hale from ESPN at a David Hale joint on Twitter. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate your time.
Pleasure as always.
You got it. Take care. It's like Clemson wins or North Carolina losses. Which number is going to be higher? That Carolina schedule. Man,
I'll say Carolina losses.
I mean, I think that's the answer, but I don't know that. I mean, I'd love to think that Carolina could win 4, but I don't. I look at this schedule, I don't see 4. Said it on Thursday and Friday of last week. I just don't see them.
I think it was Tim Donnelly and I went through the schedule during, and he said he's going to do like team-by-team predictions kind of later on, but we went through it as part of an exercise, I think on Friday's show on the drive, and I landed on I think they're going 3-9 this year. Now, there's granted, this is before we see anybody play and we see any games, so this could change. Like, they could come out against TCU in Ireland and look, really good, vastly improved, pick up an easy win. Like, there's also a path forward where they could be like 2-2 or 3-1 through 4 games, and the progress will be showing. So there's a lot to be determined.
I don't see 4-1.
They're definitely I didn't say 4-1.
I don't see
3-1 at best.
I don't see 3.
And that was a perfect scenario. They're obviously never beating Notre Dame. So you can take that one out of the equation, and they should win the FCS game. So then it's just a question of if they're going to compete in the other 2, and that remains to be seen. But we'll find out in less than 4 weeks now. It's coming.
We can also answer these questions coming up in one-timers. Go to the YouTube chat, put your question there. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Turning 65 soon? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming and confusing, but you're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help. SHIP counselors can help you understand Medicare benefits to make your best choices. Visit ncship.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most: your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
Are you a veteran looking to make a career change? The Department of Labor is offering no-cost employment workshops to help you. Visit DOL.gov, paid for by U.S. Department of Labor.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gordon on the ones and twos. Next hour, Amanda Christovich, front office sports, Protect College Sports Act. Maybe we'll talk about the NCAA losing in court again, but we're just used to that. But right now, it's time for one-timers. What we got?
I'll just start out, since we don't have a ton of time here. I'll just ask, do you think this injunction is going to hold up, allowing the 5th year of eligibility for class of 2022 high school seniors?
I think there is a chance that it doesn't hold up, but I said at the beginning, so I'm just going to agree with myself, that it logically, to me, the NCAA made a mistake. That it would have been too easy to beat in court. And I do think it will stay. I do think that also those players will ultimately be allowed freedom of movement.
All right, so assuming that it does hold up, are we going to see any Triangle College basketball players returning to their rosters for this upcoming season?
I mean, does Justin Gainey... I mean, look, you're not going to make yourself worse by adding Van Allen Lubin and Darian Williams if NC State's got room for him. So do I think it will happen? I think it's more likely that it's Van Allen Lubin than Darian Williams, because I think Van Allen Lubin can go to just back to being a reserve player. I think your roster is kind of built already to the point where maybe Darian Williams doesn't fit. But I'd love to see it. Those are good players. More good players, the better.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hi, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary, home of the original no closing cost mortgage. Why should you have a mortgage that you don't have to pay closing costs for? Well, because the money is real, and you could save thousands of dollars of your own money by simply giving yourself the freedom to refinance free of charge when the rates come down. And no better place to go than MillerLending.com. One-stop shop. Everything you need to do right there. You can do it all online. So maybe you're a germaphobe and you don't actually want to meet somebody. You can simply do it in the comfort of your own home. You don't even have to wear pants. Miller Lending. By the way, that should be the slogan. MillerLending.com. Pants optional. But the real reason to go to Miller Lending, no closing cost. Give yourself the freedom to refinance free of charge whenever the rates drop. When they drop, you simply refinance, lower your monthly payment. Voila, you have saved thousands. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary since 1996. An equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
When news breaks, don't wait. WRAL News Plus goes with you everywhere. Weather, traffic, and breaking news, live and local, all day, every day. Listen on 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and throughout the Triangle on 101.5 FM HD3. At home, in the car, at work, or on the go. Stay connected to the Triangle's most trusted newsroom anytime, anywhere. WRAL News Plus. Coverage you can count on.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
Good morning, students! Cartoon Network wants you to start your day off right by speaking up
against bullying.
People can be bullied for all kinds of things.
Who they are, where they're from, what they look like, or what they believe.
That's called identity-based bullying. If you see a student being bullied, be supportive.
Ask if they're okay and invite them to join you. You can be an ally
and make a friend.
Friendship!
Visit StopBullyingSpeakUp.com
and redraw your world without bullying.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit fighting to protect people's health, to preserve magnificent places and wildlife, and to combat climate change. Visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Progressive presents The Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
You know, there are questions about Shohei Ohtani, too, and about how his knee is going to affect his ability to pitch the rest of the way. Well, guess what? The Dodgers don't need Shohei Ohtani to pitch now. They've got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who was the World Series hero last year. They've got Justin Wrobleski, who was an all-star this year. Snell's expected back soon. Glasnow going on a rehab assignment. And now you put Tarek Skubal in that rotation. They still have Emmett Sheehan and Roki Sasaki as well. The Dodgers just have an embarrassment of riches of talent, and they already were strong favorites to win the World Series. They will now be overwhelming favorites.
And it doesn't really matter. I mean, would you take the Dodgers or the field right now, Max?
I'll take the field because the Red Sox are never losing again.
I will take the field, too. Baseball's too fickle. The Dodgers were how close to losing last year? Probably should have lost the World Series in Toronto. How many times did they rally from, multiple runs down in Game 7? I mean, credit to them. But to me, that was a game that the Blue Jays probably should have won, didn't win. I think you probably make the same case for Game 6. Maybe more of a case in Game 6 than in Game 7. Either way, it's the best teams in baseball will lose 60 times. It's not like football where teams go, what do they go now? 15-2, 14-3. Nobody's playing 780 ball in baseball. Nobody. Even in the postseason, doesn't happen. It's not like the Hurricanes in hockey, where you go 16-3 in the postseason. It's just more fickle. Way more fickle. So I would take the field over the Dodgers. Granted, the Dodgers are the favorites. All right, lots to do here. Amanda Christovich will talk Protect College Sports Act and how that has unfolded on Capitol Hill. She will join us in about 20 minutes. Max Gorin is producing. I'm Adam Gold. We're live on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show. We're going to start with the Carolina Panthers, who this is a game week with the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. So let's roll them. Dave Canales, your head coach. 4 preseason games because of the Hall of Fame game. So who will and who won't suit up on Thursday?
Kenny will start the game off. For how long, I'm not sure, but we have a good number of guys, that'll be helping out early on in the game. Just because we don't want to overload any one particular group on our team. We do have practices leading into the game, and we have practices coming out of it. So I felt that with the number of guys being out there, being able to take a couple of series will really help the whole group, and we just need the football. So I'm excited about it, and Kenny's excited as well as the rest of the group, and they've been talking a lot about it.
No starters? No starters?
Yeah, no starters. So there are some competition battles for starting positions where guys will have an opportunity to play a little bit, but some of the guys we're expecting to be out there right off the bat, I think we won't play those guys in this game.
First of all, I don't blame Dave Canales in this game at all for anybody questionable shouldn't play. Kenny Pickett will start. I kind of want to see Haynes King. I'm a big fan of Haynes King as a utility piece as a quarterback in the league. A big fan. So I hope we see Haynes King play 2 quarters, maybe second and third quarters. Love to see that. All right, now, with the injury to Nick Scorton and the ongoing physical, he's an older player, Pat Jones, who spent a lot of time on the sidelines last year. Princely Umanmielen, who was drafted early, he was also a day 2 pick a year ago out of UCLA. How has he advanced, Dave?
Princely, just take the next step. For him, it was about, we know he's got pass rush. Can he be consistent in execution across the board with different play styles, with different play types, whether it's play action, run game, the different types of runs and how the outside linebacker has to play those runs. He's got to have all those things in his tool belt to be able to know how to take on different blocks, the sift blocks from tight ends, the bluff blocks, taking on tackles, gap schemes, all those things. It's all just gathering that information so that he can be the complete player we believe he can be. That can rush the passer, but that can also give you valuable downs on first and second down.
All right, now let's get one more thing from Dave Canales. Everything's about Bryce. We're not going to see Bryce on Thursday, but I'll just refer back to last week, Scott Fowler of the Charlotte Observer writing a piece that Bryce Young had the best practice he's ever seen. Not from Bryce Young, but of any quarterback that he's watched. That's incredible. I'm not even going to dignify it with saying that, oh my gosh, he must be awesome. It is just a practice. But we have seen steady progression, albeit not necessarily a straight line up. There have been dips. It's sort of like, for those people who are familiar with the Tour de France, if you go to the Tour de France website and you can get the map of the course each day, and they can show it to you by elevation, and how sometimes it's kind of flat, sometimes it goes up a little bit and drops, goes a little climb and then drops, and it finishes on a high. That's kind of what Bryce Young has been over the last couple of years. And it will be interesting to see how he starts. So I'm not talking about the season. I'm talking about within games. We need to see a better Bryce in the first quarter and the second quarter. And maybe that's not just on Bryce. Maybe that's on the play caller too. Here's Dave Canales as he evaluates Bryce so far in camp.
The special plays still show up every day. Moving off the spot, pushing up in the pocket, layering balls, all the accuracy. But the part that I've been really impressed with this camp is just the chemistry with our receivers, the time on task with Jalen Coker, T-Mac, Xavier Leggett, JT Sanders and the tight end group who have been around for a while. And now it just seems like he's playing so much faster. It just seems like he's eliminating things before the snap. On his drop, he's starting to eliminate and evaluate things and throwing really anticipatory throws. I got to think, a couple interceptions throughout camp, he's on the money. Receivers not quite where they need to be. And these are trust throws. These are things where your whole soul's got to be behind that throw. When you hit the back foot, the ball's coming out. That creates opportunity for conversation in the meeting rooms to say, hey, look, this is my timing on this play, and here's when the ball's got to get out. I need you there a little sooner, and those types of things. And so that part, a lot of just growth in leadership in terms of talking to the players for what he wants on particular routes, from the tight ends, from the wideouts in the slot, where he sees the ball going, where he sees them attacking the leverage of the player. So I love where he's headed, love that he's all in. He seems to be really enjoying it. And so we just keep taking it a day at a time and trying to challenge ourselves that way.
So I'm going to just bring it up this way. Now I'm going to go back to the draft year. And I'm not talking about the way Bryce performed as a rookie. I'm talking about before the draft. You have C.J. Stroud, who, 6'3", 220, right? Big kid. Forget about the other two guys drafted that year, Anthony Richardson and Will Levis. Richardson, I don't know, whatever, he's got hurt. Will Levis lost his job already in Tennessee. Bryce and Stroud are the 1 and 2. They're still starters in the 2 spots. Going into the draft, I said this. Because of the disparity in height if the overall quarterback ability were similar between Stroud and Bryce Young, then you automatically take C.J. Stroud. Because if the ability is similar, the size, that's the deciding factor. Bryce must have been, to the evaluators, so much better at playing the position than Stroud. Because otherwise, Stroud would have been the pick. And I think what we're seeing, and we've seen it in clutch moments with Bryce, fourth quarters, last minute drives, comeback situations, we have seen him perform at his best in those situations. Also, I forget the phrase Dave Canales used, but when Bryce is on the move, he's awesome. He is really good in scramble situations. And I'm not saying he is as good as Patrick Mahomes or as good as Caleb Williams, who is awesome when he gets outside the pocket. I think when Bryce is on the move, there aren't many quarterbacks in the league who are better than he is. And all of these things, the impromptu stuff about playing the position, I think Bryce has got. So Canales talking about trusting your receivers. And Dave Canales is talking about Bryce Young in a totally different way than he used to talk about him. A totally different way. All right, to Major League Baseball. All right, on Saturday night, Tariq Skubal leaves the Tigers, goes to the Dodgers for, I think it's 3 of their top prospects. Doesn't really matter. Prospects are lottery tickets. Sometimes the lottery ticket is closer to being a sure thing, but honestly, we have seen way too many, can't miss prospects, miss. Famously. 100 times in a row, I would trade a prospect for an established player. 100 times in a row. And the Dodgers do this. By the way, a whole bunch of trades have been made with prospects. The White Sox traded prospects. I mean, they all do it because you should. If you have a chance to win, you should try to win. But whether or not baseball institutes a salary cap, and they can't institute it, whether they win this fight, that'll be for another day. There are certain things that have to change within Major League Baseball's revenue distribution system. And the Dodgers have gotten a sweetheart deal with their local television revenue. June Lee, who used to work for ESPN, now does his own thing on Twitter. It's a video, but this audio will explain to you how the Dodgers are getting away with keeping a lot of money they shouldn't.
The first big turning point came when the Dodgers partnered with Time Warner Cable to launch Sportsnet LA. But because the Dodgers had just gone bankrupt and MLB wanted to help one of their historic franchises get better, there was an exception in the contract. Under MLB rules, teams are supposed to share a big chunk of their local TV money with the rest of the league. Think of it like a tax system. Big market teams help smaller teams so everyone has a chance to compete. That tax is roughly 1/3 of the team's local TV money. But when the Dodgers signed their TV deal, it completely shattered expectations. The deal was roughly $8 billion over 25 years, far more than MLB had projected. If MLB applied its typical formula, the Dodgers would have owed about $95.2 million a year into revenue sharing. But here's the twist. Because the Dodgers had just gone bankrupt, MLB agreed in federal court to lock in a fair market value for the rights of Dodgers baseball games on television. With the number the court decided, the Dodgers only had to pay $28.6 million per year, saving nearly $66.6 million every single season. It's like if the Dodgers built a mansion, but MLB kept taxing them as if they were living in a small house. And according to a leaked source, that exception doesn't expire until 2039, when the Dodgers TV deal expires. In other words, for nearly 3 decades, the Dodgers TV revenue is going to be taxed as if they were still a bankrupt franchise. That is completely unprecedented in American sports history, and it's one of the things the Dodgers have taken advantage of to make sure they can win as much as possible during this window.
All right. When you hear that, and I'm not suggesting that will change your mind about a salary cap. but I will remind you of this. Why do fans think they need a salary cap? Because their teams don't have a chance to win, right? You feel as though, let's just say you're a fan of, the Kansas City Royals. We don't have a chance to win because the Dodgers make this much money and we don't make this much money. Competitive balance, your chance to win, does not go up with a salary cap. Because right now, you have a pretty good chance to win if you try. Because we're not that far removed from the Royals winning a World Series the year after losing in a World Series. We're not that far removed from it. And in their division right now, they could have 3 playoff teams. The White Sox lead the division, one of the better teams in the American League. The Guardians are in the playoff race. The Tigers were just outside of it. Twins were, I guess the Twins haven't had a great year. Royals haven't had a good year. But year in and year out, those teams have competed. When you look at who has made the playoffs a lot lately, man, in the American League, I want to give you over the last 15 years, Cleveland has made the playoffs 7 times. Detroit, 6 times in the last 15 years. So more often than not, one of these teams are in the playoffs. There aren't a lot of Yankees or Dodgers out there. Well, there are some, mostly in the National League. Braves, Cardinals, who haven't been in the playoffs all that much lately. Brewers have been in the playoffs 7 times, and I think like 7 out of the last 8 years the Brewers have been in the playoffs. You can win. Every team can spend money. Every single team. Baseball had over $13 billion in revenue last year. The average, if you split the money down the middle, just baseball revenue, each team would be able to spend at least $200 million on salaries. Look at the number of teams that don't. Forget about at least $200 billion. How about at least $150 million in salaries? Too many teams don't. You know why? They don't want to. Because it isn't as important to them to win as it is to turn a profit. Fans don't know this. All they see is the team on the field. If you knew what teams didn't do in the interest of winning, how they didn't try, you would not be in favor of a salary cap. Because it doesn't achieve the goal that they tell you it will achieve. The only thing a salary cap achieves is to artificially hold down costs and build franchise value. Why do you care about that? Why do you care if the Pirates are worth $3 billion as opposed to $2 billion? How does it help your team win? It doesn't. Competitive, as we go to break, very quickly. The number one thing I saw on social media after the Skubal trade was how baseball needed a salary cap, and I asked one question. How would a salary cap have made it more likely that your team landed Skubal? Doesn't. What a salary cap might have done was just prevented the Dodgers from doing it. But every team, it would have made sense for every single team in baseball to make that trade. Every single one. If you were going to be a playoff team, like the White Sox or Cleveland or Milwaukee, Arizona, every single team, it made sense for you to make that deal. Heck, even if you weren't necessarily in a playoff spot right now, if you were in Miami, it would make sense for you to make that deal. Very few teams seem to be super invested in winning. That's the problem. Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, is going to join us when we come back. The Protect College Sports Act has life, although it'll be about a month before we actually see a vote on it. We'll talk to her about that next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today.
With these summertime pop-up storms, it's even more important to keep these key reminders handy when you're heading out for a ride. I'm Victoria Bodenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and we're most definitely in the season to put some miles on that motorcycle. But there's always the risk of a random storm interrupting the adventure. And if you're a newer rider and maybe haven't experienced it yet, definitely remember to slow your speed down, avoid slick spots, and always be extra aware of other vehicles on the road when you're out. But if you've also never experienced being in an accident on your motorcycle that wasn't your fault, always remember to call Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're riders too, so they get it. They know the value of your bike, your gear, and the investment that you've made. Case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
I'm glad he agreed to this date, Mr. First Tuesday.
Oh, me too, but I have to admit something. I've never been on a first date.
But you are a date, and first is in your name.
Yeah, I guess I've just been married to my work, you know? Spreading the news about new scratch-offs coming out every first Tuesday.
New scratch-offs release every first Tuesday?
Wait, you don't know about new scratch-off tickets that come out the Okay. Well, okay. You got me.
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Yeah. Can you pass me a Baja?
A what?
Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Try it. It's tropical at first, then the lime flavor hits.
Oh, okay. That's crisp. Tastes like vacation.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it's mine now.
Have a Baja Blast.
Right now at Circle K, buy a 20-ounce Mountain Dew and get another for just $1. Do the Dew at Circle K today.
Most families get their financial advice in pieces. A financial advisor here, a CPA there, an estate attorney somewhere else. Everyone means well, but nobody's talking to each other, and those gaps can work against you. Trajan Wealth's family office brings wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning together, not as separate conversations, but as one coordinated system built around your life, your goals, and the people who matter most. Ours is a true family office, not one that refers you out because it's convenient. This kind of dedicated collaboration used to require a 7-figure net worth, but here's the game changer. Trajan kicked that door open. Trajan advisors are fiduciaries, always obligated, always honored to act in your best interest. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax.
Back then, we'd spend nights in front of the boob tube. We'd take our same seats, smoke cigarettes, and watch until the station played. We all smoked in those days. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now. Surviving lung cancer starts with a scan. Learn more at screenyourlungs.org. This PSA was made possible by industry funding and guidance from lung cancer patient groups.
This is Adam Gold.
And we're going to have Seth on the show next week when he gets back from vacation. He was by a pool. What are you doing? Get off Twitter.
It's nicer to be on Twitter when you're by a pool anyway.
No, just stop. Stop engaging with people.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin producing the program today. I think Victoria's back on Wednesday. I mentioned this with David Hale before. As I left here Friday, a little after 3 o'clock, I was fairly confident that the Protect College Sports Act, which had not yet gotten the approval of the body of the Southeastern Conference and the Big Ten that it was dead. And then I got home, and it wasn't dead. And I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. Now I'm reading that we won't see a vote on it until September. Well, who knows? Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, covering college sports, really covering the courts and Capitol Hill. Who knew that you were a Capitol Hill correspondent these days, Amanda? How are you?
I'm okay. You know, it's funny because like I went to Georgetown and all my friends went to law school or working for the federal government, and I thought I'm going to do something different. I'm going to cover sports, and here we are. You know, they keep reeling me back in, but it's okay. It's kind of fun.
It certainly is never a dull moment. The funny thing is that because I went home with that mindset, and I believe we arranged for this time you to come on today before it all changed. And my question to you was going to be, do you feel like you have wasted a lot of time? Because that, to me, was one of the stories going into, well, it's obviously dead on arrival, was that all the time wasted by the schools and the NCAA lobbying, all the time wasted trying to draft the bill that is probably too comprehensive to really to stand up to a legal test. And then it was your time. I'm concerned with your time and how you've had to cover this. But I guess it isn't time wasted yet.
It is not time wasted yet. That is true. And honestly, I think it might be a while until we can really say whether or not all of these lobbying dollars were a waste. I mean, it's certainly never time wasted to cover what's going on or not going on Capitol Hill. Right. So whether this bill passes or not, I do think that it's been a really interesting story in terms of the stakeholders in college sports, in terms of the new alliances that have been formed, right, that I think are probably going to continue for the foreseeable future. At this exact moment, it's difficult to, we don't even know if we're going to see a vote this week. On Friday night, I was told by Senator Eric Schmidt that the plan was for a vote this week, that the Senate might go all the way to Saturday between the Protect College Sports Act and other issues that they have. I did see that Political report saying that now they don't think there's going to be a vote until September. I haven't been able to get sourcing to say either way. It seems like things are kind of in flux right now. Hopefully we'll have a little more clarity by the end of the day about whether they've initiated the process. But I've been saying that for days, so right. I don't know. Have you just been watching C-SPAN nonstop? Let's go ahead. How do you do this? Oh, gosh, no. I just – No. Oh, no. Okay. No, not even I could subject myself to that. I have iMessage on my laptop, so I just text every source on my laptop. Right. That is because a lot of folks, especially your work computer, you don't have your personal phone. I only have one phone. I don't have a Front Office Sports phone. Right. And people say, oh, you can't text during work. No. Texting is work. And I just have, I'll text one source and be like, hey, any updates? And then I'll copy paste that message to 3 other people, and then I just sit there and wait and see who texts me back. So no C-SPAN for me, at least not yet. Good for you. Amanda Christovich is joining us here, Front Office Sports, college sports reporter at A. Christovich with an extra H on the end. What changes were made to the bill as it is written now that got the Big Ten and the SEC on board? Is it that additional, I don't even know how much it is, of a player retention pool so you could, throw more money at players that you already had to keep them? Is it limiting conference growth size? What was the tipping point that got the Big Ten and the SEC on board? Well, I think there were several iterations. I was getting documents not actual bill text, but summary documents from sources about like a dozen amendments that have been made over the past week, month, et cetera. Obviously, the expansion portion, the fact that all power conferences are now subject to expansion limitations and not just the Big Ten and SEC, I think that was part of it. Making media rights pooling, inserting language to clarify that that's optional so that protects them from legal challenges, that's part of it. It does seem like in the last 24 hours between Thursday and Friday, it was that retention pool and then additional like sort of salary cap language that was that final hang up that the Big Ten and SEC had about, ensuring that language would still create some sort of enforceable salary cap in effect, right? Like that there wouldn't be open loopholes. I'm not exactly sure how they accomplished that because none of us we're not getting the actual bill text, so I'm not sure how that was accomplished, but it does seem to have been done, to the SEC and Big Ten's liking. But it does seem that like that was the final thing between Thursday and Friday. That was the hang-up, which did kind of surprise me.
Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. You're talking about when you said salary cap, it brings to mind the fact that the athletic director at Tennessee, Danny White, said that the only way to find real protection from legal challenges is collective bargaining. They could pass a bill, they could pass a law that grants partial antitrust exemption to the schools, to the NCAA, but ultimately artificially capping what players can make with a salary cap, because the players would not be agreeing to this, would leave themselves way too vulnerable to a legal challenge. I'm sure you're aware of this now because you are now also a law correspondent. But the NCAA doesn't do well in court.
No, they don't. It's so hard to say because if they were able to achieve a federal antitrust exemption, that's the whole point of it, is that they would be able to cap these salaries. But Danny White is correct in that you don't need Congress for a legally enforceable mechanism to cap salaries, which is collective bargaining. And that's just something that they're not interested in at this point. And when I say they, I mean the NCAA and most of athletics administrators. So I think, the scope of this exemption that is stipulated in the Protect College Sports Act would provide some sort of actually legal recourse against schools that try to go around it. But it's like, it's just not like very cut and dry, if that makes sense.
No,
because they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These loopholes,
Let me just jump in and ask you this, because ultimately, let's just say the bill does get written. The SEC and the Big Ten, which are, they encompass a whole lot of different, swaths of humanity in the United States of America, from California and Pennsylvania to Alabama and Texas, Florida, we're everywhere. What are the chances that it draws widespread enough support to get to 60 votes?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? The idea, and this is what the senators believe, or at least they're saying they believe this, is that now that they have the Big Ten and the SEC on board, enough of the senators, both Democrat and Republican, in the states where their flagship universities live, that will get them to 60. And so now the question is, can they run up the score and get over 60? However, it's, that there's never a guarantee, right? And so I think that's what we're waiting on in terms of whether or not there's going to be a vote scheduled. we're waiting to see if they feel comfortable not just to get right to 60, but to get well over 60. Because I don't think they're going to schedule a vote if it's close. Because the House tried to do that like 2 or 3 times with the SCORE Act, and that was just an embarrassment, you know. And the Senate is a little bit more averse to embarrassment than the House, I would say.
Yes. Well, they pretend to be the adults, but that's another matter altogether. I just have a hard time with states like Michigan and California and maybe Pennsylvania and New York that are more in tune with labor to be really voting the rights away of the labor. And that's kind of where I stand on that.
Yeah, it's interesting because we don't even really know how much, like, I'm personally not hearing a ton from the labor advocacy lobbying groups. And that could just be because they're doing it behind the scenes, or like I'm just not talking to them. I don't know. But it does seem as though, you know, we had a statement come out from the AFL-CIO Sports Council against the Protect College Sports Act, and that is supposed to be, you know, sort of like a conglomerate that speaks for 9 professional sports unions. But like outside of that statement, they have a lot of muscle. Like the AFL-CIO has a lot of muscle on Capitol Hill. I'm not sure if they're expending it on this or something else. I'm not hearing a ton.
Yeah, bigger issues, right, for them.
I mean, maybe not. But I think that there's a question right now that I'm hearing from sources about whether or not there are going to be Democrats in these states with Big Ten and SEC schools who might feel comfortable voting in favor of this bill because they're not getting a lot of pressure from the labor unions not to.
And it's a populist vote because, like in Ohio, a lot of football fans, right? And in Michigan, a lot of football fans. Yeah, we'll see. I've stood by this the entire time, and I'll let you go here, Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports. I've never thought there'd be a bill. I could be wrong here, but I've never thought one would pass, and I think ultimately I won't be wrong there. I also think it's bad for the players, but they might not have any say in it. Amanda Christovich, back to iMessage for you. I appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of the legislative session, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.
You got it. Amanda Christovich, Front Office Sports. Here's the thing about I was serious. When I left here Friday, and we talked about it, all the amount of time that was wasted, the lobbying, the money wasted, the time that congressional leaders, for what it's worth, have spent on like this. Like, I hate to be that guy, but honestly, it shouldn't be. This is not something that we should ask elected leaders to deal with. This, and Danny White has been talking about this for a bit now. This is a problem that should have been dealt with at the NCAA level. We do not need Capitol Hill to fix college sports, but it is the easy way out for them. It allows them to have somebody else do the heavy lifting, and again, I will promise you, it won't stand up. The antitrust part of this will not stand up in court. There isn't a single attorney, not the way the bills are written. A much more narrow bill, if it was a bill that only dealt with like player movement, yeah, that might hold up. But now we're talking about player movement, conference restrictions, and earnings restrictions? Nah. If that's not collectively bargained, that ain't going to hold up. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We will stretch. We will place bets. By the way, I guess this is good news. We'll talk about it. Somebody got his job back. We'll talk about that next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
The North Carolina Healthcare Association invites you to listen to this month's podcast, Conversations on the State of Healthcare. We're delving into a new NCAA report titled More Than Medicine, the Economic Impact of North Carolina Hospitals. My guest is Josh Dobson, President and CEO of the North Carolina Healthcare Association.
Hospitals generated about $52 billion in economic impact last year, roughly 6% of the entire state's gross domestic product. They spent around $44 billion on operations and workforce expenses. And that spending does ripple outward into local economies. Hospitals are often among the largest employers in a region, especially rural communities. In fact, they're among the top 10 employers in 95 of North Carolina's 100 counties.
You can learn more and join our latest conversations on the state of healthcare wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And find out more by visiting nchealthcare.org.
Did you know Atlantic hurricane season runs through November? From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
I'm the thread that's already inside the house. In the closet, under the bed, in the car. But I don't want your money or your TV. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. I'm patient and quiet. I don't sleep. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire. And as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Secure all your guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available. If you feel lonely, isolated, anxious, or overwhelmed, help is here all day and night. Call, text, or chat 988 without cost, without judgment, and without waiting for an appointment. You'll get support that can make a difference. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. Place bets in just a few minutes. Guess who got his old job back, Max?
Who?
Mauricio Pochettino.
Yes.
I guess technically, he is signing a new contract. His term was up. The U.S. men's national team coach, his deal was only through the World Cup. And he is signed on now for another World Cup cycle. So through 2030, they will play the World Cup in Qatar in the winter of no, I'm sorry, that's the next one. That's 34. Europe. That'll be Spain, Portugal, Morocco, and there are also I think 3 matches that are in South America. So we've touched 3 continents with 1 World Cup, which really allowed FIFA to sort of hand the 2034 World Cup to Saudi Arabia. It's exactly what happened, by the way. Nobody else bid on the 2034 World Cup. 2038, I would be stunned if it doesn't come back to the United States. It was an enormous success. In fact, we're going to find out probably in the next months that Copa America may come back to the U.S. in a couple of summers. Remember, it was here 2 summers ago, and that was fun. Like, that was not our first taste of, soccer on a much bigger stage, but it's a big deal because that is it's a tremendous event, and the U.S. will be a part of it. My guess is easily in 28. But the Mauricio Pochettino, I think, did a good job. Like, I know that the exit was terrible. A lot of factors for it, including Pochettino maybe underestimating just the emotional side of everything that needed to happen to be able to compete with a Belgian side that was not great, but was super motivated for obvious reasons. So I am not a bulletin board material guy, but Belgium was clearly disrespected. They clearly felt like an aggrieved party because the Belgian team that I watched throughout the World Cup wasn't even close to that. And all of a sudden, they just careered it against the U.S., and the U.S. didn't handle it well. They were awful pretty much from the jump. There was nobody that played well. But I think it would be idiotic to not look back on what we saw at the World Cup and go, yeah, that was better. If for no other reason, in that it was front foot football. Like, the United States played attacking, go for it soccer. That's not what they played under Greg Berhalter. That just isn't. And in some ways, being more cautious might give you a better chance to win. I don't think it does, but you could argue that if it's 0-0 for a long time, the draw might not hurt you, but you could always nick a goal and win 1-0. And sometimes when you expose yourself by going for it, or playing a high line, or really going all out in a press, you're going to create opportunities for certainly a much better team. And Belgium was that in the round of 16 match. And Belgium took advantage of it, but I still appreciated the way the United States went about it. And I appreciated that Pochettino, I thought, set his team up to attack. And that's something that we have not really had. Now, I don't know. I'm not comparing eras of U.S. men's national team. I'm not doing that. But I do think that he did a very good job. I think he deserved another run. I wasn't sure they were going to give it to him. There was a lot of raw emotion after they lost. And the manner in which they lost, and otherwise really smart people wrote about how the Pochettino should be fired or let go, not brought back. And I just didn't understand why you would do that.
No, he definitely. I feel like he really rallied not only the team, but it felt like the fan base of USMNT was really excited. And it seems like he has that kind of perfect attitude where, I don't know, in previous regimes, I especially think of Berhalter, it just wasn't somebody that you felt like you could rally around. but Pochettino definitely embraced the underdog role of being the American coach and the underdog role that USMNT has in the World Cup. And it felt like the fan base could really get behind him. So hopefully they can find a better keeper for 2030. That's a priority. I mean, they still need some a little better talent all around. I'll be interested to see, because that'll almost certainly, I think, be given what's been said about Kevin Sullivan. I think that'll be his debut on at least on the World Cup stage. I'm sure he'll have plenty of random national team caps before that if he is the player that he's been hyped up to be. But should be interesting. 100th year of the World Cup as well, so it'll be a big event. And more than anything, I'm excited to watch games that start at 8 in the morning or whatever over here.
Could be
during work days.
Could be a 64 team World Cup, which
isn't great, but honestly, the format would be better, I think, because then you just take the top 2 from all the groups versus the kind of third place nonsense that they had during this one, where it's if you win a game in the current format, it's almost impossible not to get through. I think you have to. They got to make it a way where you have to be top 2 in your group to get through to knockouts.
Yeah, and then we'll just have 16 groups. 16? No. 16, yeah,
16 groups of 4 and the top 2 go through. It makes way more sense than
it's just going to take a long
taking
time.
Third place teams. Yeah,
it's just going to take longer to play the group stage. Yeah, I'm frankly, I think 64 is too many teams because it destroys the qualifying.
Yeah, but the island, the countries like Cape Verde and
well, they got in at 48.
Yeah,
Cabo
proved they
Verde got in at 48.
That's what I'm saying.
Curacao got in at 48. So we'll always have those nations will get in. Those types of nations will always get in. 64 kind of takes the drama, if there's any drama, out of the qualifying process, which I don't love. But I'm also, if they go to 64, I ain't going to complain about it because I just watched the 48-team World Cup, and I've watched plenty of World Cups before, and that was phenomenal. And I'm okay with more games of phenomenal. So, and maybe it's just because it was here. I don't know. I don't think that should play a role in it. I enjoyed it so much. And I'll be happy after the Hurricanes win their 5th straight Stanley Cup to go right into another World Cup cycle. All right, real quick, because I have some other things to talk about regarding that with you, Max, and now that I know that you're into it. The Hurricanes apparently do not have a top 20 NHL winger. Nobody, according to NHL.com, who plays the wing for Carolina is in the top 20. And all I could say is, I get it. Nobody flashy for the Hurricanes. It's all right. All right, should we stretch before we bet?
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about small island countries like Cape Verde because another small island country is changing its name. Nauru, the world's 3rd smallest country, is a Pacific island nation. They're changing their name to Nauru to match the spelling and pronunciation in the national language, the Republic of Nauru. The move returns the remote South Pacific island nation to a traditional name, according to a statement posted this past Thursday to the government's Facebook account. The country became known internationally as Nauru only because its local name was difficult for foreigners to pronounce and was a matter of convenience rather than one of choice, according to an earlier government statement. So Nauru is now Nauru. So just
I like it.
In all your conversations about small Pacific island nations.
Naboo? Does it say Naboo?
No.
Never mind.
Or is that, I didn't get the reference. I kind of got the reference.
It's a
but
Star Wars thing.
We're talking about movies that we think are overrated in our staff meeting earlier today. And that's all I'll say about that. And
you
also,
think Star Wars overrated? I'm not gonna fight with you.
And
it's fine.
I usually like to bring up some world records on this segment.
I like world records.
There's a new one from a family in Idaho. They've teamed up to earn a record for a game of Hungry Hungry Hippos. It is the title for the fastest time to clear a game of Hungry Hungry Hippos with a team of 4. They did it in 3.75 seconds.
Oh, my gosh.
It was actually just certified. They did this in November, but it's just been certified now as the new record. Must use an unmodified license game on a flat table. Your hands start flat, and you can only use one finger to trigger your hippo. If you swap fingers, your attempt is dead, and if you drop a ball, it's over. So 3.75 seconds cleared the board on Hungry
So
Hippos.
you can only use one finger to trigger your hippo?
Yes, one finger.
Is that a sentence that actually was uttered on this radio show?
It is.
Yeah. Hey, just take that in your car on your way home, people. You can only use one finger to trigger your hippo. I got nothing for that.
Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
I feel like I'm 11. I'm sorry. Do we have time for anything?
Yeah, we can place a couple. We got like 45 seconds. There's really not much going on tonight, but Alyssa Thomas of the Phoenix Mercury are playing. I don't remember who they're playing, but she is typically one to accrue a lot of stats, so I'm going to go with Alyssa Thomas to get a double-double minus 120.
Very nice. I can only use one finger to trigger my hippo. Cubs, Dodgers at Wrigley Field. Could the Dodgers lose again? Cubs are home dogs? I kind of dig it. Plus 110, over 8, plus 260. Give me Cubs and runs to beat the Dodgers.
And then just because there's nothing else going on, I'll take the Panthers to make the playoffs plus 235.
I like that. I like the Panthers to make the playoffs. They can win the division again with 9 wins this time. That's progress.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks from training camp as the regular season approaches. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
I'm Sam, owner of Marino's Landscape. With my Chase Ink Business Premier Card, I earn unlimited 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more. So everything I buy to run my landscaping business gives me cash back to help throw a big thank you party for my team. For all they do.
Chase Ink. Cash back built for every business. Find the right card at chase.com/ink. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
August is Sandwich Month, and Easy Cater is rolling out a new surprise deal every week from August 3rd through 30th. That means every order of delicious sandwiches for your team comes with a side of something special just for you. From cheesesteaks and cubanos to pita pockets and pastrami, Easy Cater makes it easy to bring everyone's favorite sandwiches to work and rack up big rewards while you're at it. New week, new deal, all August long. Visit easycater.com to place your next order and take a bite out of Sandwich Month. Restrictions apply. See offer details at easycater.com.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Because you guys do everything for the exterior of your home, these things can add up. And there are a lot of people who think, I can't afford this. How can the Aluminum Company make it easier?
Yeah, well, Adam, we have plans that are 12 months, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 12 months, which make it super affordable for people to do anything on their home, whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, gutters, any kind of exterior home improvement. The Aluminum Company has financing plans that can fit in your budget and make it easy.
So wait a second. I can get everything done, no interest, and no payments for 12 months?
Yeah, and you get a lifetime warranty once the project's done.
I get a lifetime warranty once the project is done?
Yes, sir.
What about my down payment?
No down payment, no
What?
deposit.
No down payment, no deposit.
No payment until the project's done.
No payment till the project's done.
Exactly.
Where do I sign up? Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
All of us have a role to play in promoting a mental health friendly workplace.
Whether we're a CEO, manager,
coworker,
or someone with a mental health condition ourselves.
So what can I do to help?
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Storage Studio. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Canes light the lamp here.
The Dodgers get it right in every aspect of their organization, which quietly and conveniently gets overlooked that they're better at drafting, at trading, at signing free agents, at paying guys. They're better at all those things. But it's the other 25 owners who get to go look and point and go, look how much you're doing, look what you're doing. We can't do that. I mean, in reality, it's never been a can't thing. It's a won't thing. And it's the problem is that the 25 loudest voices in the room screaming, we're getting screwed, we can't do that, we can't do that, are the ones who absolutely can do it, just refuse to.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. Dave Fleming, former ESPN.com writer, author, and I believe UNC bureau chief for the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast. He had, back during last season, covered the football program and Michael Lombardi. So we're going to talk to him about Michael Lombardi, who retained Tom Mars, a very successful attorney who has fought and won many, many battles with the NCAA. So we'll talk with Dave Fleming about what's going on with Michael Lombardi. Still think it ends with a dismissal at UNC, but we are a long way from that. We're a lot further away from that than we are with, to the start of the season, which is the Saturday before Labor Day. All right, lots to do. It is time for the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
And for the sake of argument, this is all going to be Carolina Panthers related. Dave Canales with a game on Thursday in the Hall of Fame game against the Arizona Cardinals. Who's going to play, sir?
Kenny will start the game off. For how long, I'm not sure, but we have a good number of guys, that'll be helping out early on in the game. Just because we don't want to overload any one particular group on our team. We do have practices leading into the game, and we have practices coming out of it. So I felt that with the number of guys being out there, being able to take a couple of series will really help the whole group, and we just need the football. So I'm excited about it, and Kenny's excited as well as the rest of the group, and they've been talking a lot about it.
All right. No starters. No starters.
Yeah, no starters. So there are some competition battles for starting positions where guys will have an opportunity to play a little bit, but some of the guys we're expecting to be out there right off the bat, I think we won't play those guys in this game.
I wonder what the impact was in that decision on the injuries that they had earlier in training camp. I mean, I would think that logic says, yeah, you know what, we need to minimize damage. So even the position battle type situations, yeah, we're going to wait until the second preseason game when everybody has gotten up to speed on everything that they do. All right, one player you didn't hear in the conversation about quarterbacks, you heard Kenny Pickett. I'd love to see Haynes King play. You will not see Bryce Young play, certainly not in preseason game number 1. But Dave Canales on the difference between old Bryce and this Bryce.
The special plays still show up every day. Moving off the spot, pushing up in the pocket, layering balls, all the accuracy. But the part that I've been really impressed with this camp is just the chemistry with our receivers, the time on task with Jalen Coker, T-Mac, Xavier Leggett, JT Sanders, and the tight end group who have been around for a while. And now it just seems like he's playing so much faster. It just seems like he's eliminating things before the snap. On his drop, he's starting to eliminate and evaluate things and throwing really anticipatory throws. I got to think, a couple interceptions throughout camp, like he's on the money, receivers not quite where they need to be, and these are trust throws. These are things where your whole soul's got to be behind that throw. When you hit the back foot, the ball's coming out. That creates opportunity for conversation in the meeting rooms to say, hey, look, this is my timing on this play, and here's when the ball's got to get out. I need you there a little sooner, and those types of things. And so that part, a lot of just growth in leadership in terms of talking to the players for what he wants on particular routes, from the tight ends, from the wideouts in the slot, where he sees the ball going, where he sees them attacking the leverage of the players. So I love where he's headed, love that he's all in. He seems to be really enjoying it. And so we just keep taking it a day at a time and trying to challenge ourselves that way.
I think it's awesome how Dave Canales has changed the way he has talked about Bryce Young. In year one of Canales, I was convinced that he did not have faith that Bryce Young could be a quarterback in the league. I was convinced of it. He didn't talk like somebody who had any confidence in that quarterback. And last year, I think he was a lot more measured about, Bryce wants these throws back, blah, blah, blah. He didn't really give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'll talk about year one with Canales and Bryce. It was pretty obvious that when he benched Bryce, he didn't have any intent to go back, that was going to be the Andy Dalton show, and at the end of the season, they'd find another quarterback. I believe that Dave Canales' mind was made up. And toward the end of year two, year one with Canales and Bryce, but toward the end of Bryce's sophomore NFL season, it started to look different. He started to have a more positive impact on the game. And even though it got off to a slow start last year, all the best moments for Bryce were in high leverage situations. So I do think there's a big future. This year will determine whether he is franchise quarterback worthy or, we can work with this. And those are two different things. So I know they've been talking about a $50 million contract. Those numbers still boggle my mind, but the NFL is making $25 billion a year. All right, one more thing from Dave Canales on how Princely Umanmielen has become and can become a complete player.
Princely, just take the next step. For him, it was about, we know he's got pass rush. Can he be consistent in execution across the board with different play styles, with different play types, whether it's play action, run game, the different types of runs and how the outside linebacker has to play those runs. He's got to have all those things in his tool belt to be able to know how to take on different blocks, the sift blocks from tight ends, the bluff blocks, taking on tackles, gap schemes, all those things. It's all just gathering that information so that he can be the complete player we believe he can be. That can rush the passer, but that can also give you valuable downs on first and second down.
I mean, it's even more important with the injury to Nick Scorton that Umanmielen takes another step as a player. Like last year, you could tell that Scorton was way ahead of Umanmielen when it came to number of snaps and impact on the game. So they're going to need that. They're going to need him to take another step forward because it's hard to find impact players on that side of the ball. It just is. If you're an impact player, you're probably in an NFL training camp already, except, like if you're Joe Flacco sitting on your couch somewhere. Although I believe he's still with the Bengals, right? Flacco still with the Bengals? Do we know? Would anybody draft him as your fantasy quarterback? I don't think so. All right, let's go to Brant Tillis, who is the cap guy for the Carolina Panthers. and the extra preseason game and the impact that might have.
It is valuable, and a lot of teams they look at it as a kind of as a boon, but for us it is going to be a tool for us to be able to evaluate the roster and really see some of these guys and how they're ascending and how they're competing against other teams. So it's exciting for us.
All right, now one more thing from Brad Tillis, because this is what you must, like, if you're a Hurricanes fan, you know that Eric Tulsky with the assistance of Tom Dundon, they have done a very good job of not only building a team for now, but looking ahead. And the Hurricanes have been a great organization when it comes to managing both. You want to give yourself the best chance to win today, but also keep your window open down the road. Tom Dundon said it a long time ago. I want to win every year. And they have won every year. Haven't won it all every year, obviously. But they have been one of the best teams in hockey every season now for 8 straight years. And so Tillis is thinking about today, but is really planning for tomorrow.
It sounds crazy. I'm already on to next year. Like, I'm looking at next year and I'm seeing, all right, what's the team going to look like next year? How are things going? How are we going to field a team? Who's going to be on that team? So on and so forth. So I spend a lot of time on that. I'm lucky to have Justin Davidoff, who works with me, and he gives me a lot of good insight there. But it's really that. That's where my worried mind is.
But that's the role. You have to be thinking about the future, always. Especially when you must spread the dollars around. It is a very, very difficult task. All right, we will come back. David Fleming will join us. We'll talk about North Carolina and Michael Lombardi. Not that he didn't see it coming, because he did, but where does Carolina go from here? And we'll get the lay of the land from David Fleming next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Don't look now, but the Carolina Panthers are actually, get ready for it, getting some love. There's going to be some hype. There's going to be some expectations this year. Top 5 defensive tackle Derek Brown. Top 100 players, 4 of them. It is time for everybody to gather around and get ready that there might be some high stakes for the Panthers this season.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
I know we're starting up a new week, but that doesn't mean the fun has to stop. I'm Victoria Bodenecker here from 99.9 The Fan for Law Tigers, and if you're feeling the Mondays already, maybe you should plan an impromptu evening adventure. Even if it's only a 30-minute ride, breaking the motorcycle out on a beautiful day, taking in the fresh air, and unwinding for a bit is just the thing you might need to help you get through the rest of the week. And no one ever wants to be involved in a wreck, but in the case that you are in an accident while riding your motorcycle, keep a note to call my friends at Law Tigers first before calling your insurance company. At Law Tigers, they're just like us. They're riders too, so they know the value of your bike, your gear, and the investment that you've made. They also know what it's like to go through an accident. Case evaluations are always free, and you're not going to pay a dime until your case is settled. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
You're listening to the Financial Safari News Network.
From Coach Pete's Money Desk, America's wealth coach and author of the big book on retirement, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach, what's a good strategy with debt as we near retirement?
I saw something come across the wires the other day. Macy's just introduced to the world a news release that they're going to start charging 35% interest on their credit card that they have.
Whoa.
Now, I've seen 29.9 with some folks that have come in from the radio and say, Coach, we got this debt. What should we do with it? I said, number one, stop saving and pay this debt off. Like if you're trying to save at a bank or even in the stock market, could you really get a 30% return? Here's a guaranteed 30% return. If you have a debt or any kind of debt, whatever the interest rate on that debt is, if you pay that off, that's the return you're getting because you're not having to pay that debt anymore. So if you're paying off a 30% credit card with money, you in effect earn 30% because you're not paying 30% anymore.
Good strategies. 888-456-7577, 888-456-7577, or text ZONE to 600-700.
Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
It's bow time. Ordering Bojangles Bow Bites is the easiest choice you'll make today. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken is fried to crispy perfection, making it perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. The only hard part is choosing from our 6 dipping sauces. We've got a sauce for every kind of craving, from our creamy house-made ranch to our sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bow Bites. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to head on over to Bojangles to try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. On the go, they're perfect for snacking or sharing. Dipped in your favorite sauce like creamy house-made ranch or peach honey pepper, they're the perfect way to satisfy your craving for flavor and value. Try Bojangles' new Bow Bites. It's an easy choice to make when it's bow time.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is Adam Gold.
I wanted to tell Victoria that my daughter said she is not eating any more magical Cheez-Its until the season starts.
Yes, I love this. We got a revolution going.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorn on the ones and twos. Blues Traveler was not at Lollapalooza this week in Chicago. I frankly not sure I recognize much of the many of the acts that were at Lollapalooza, but I do know somebody who was there. I guess Dave Fleming, author, the North Carolina bureau chief of Pablo Torre Finds Out, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I trust you survived that event?
Hey, Adam, yeah. My hearing is intact. My voice is a little hoarse, but I love our text exchange this weekend when you were like, can you talk Monday? And I'm like, assuming as an old man, I survived Lollapalooza, I'm all in. So look, I survived. I did it.
Good for you. Who were you there? What act attracted you to this one?
Okay, so the Friday lineup had a lot of pretty good rock, punk, and I wanted to see Youngblood, which is a guy from England, sort of like an Ozzy Osbourne protege. And then I'll tell you, so one of the things I love and hate about festivals is they make they force you into these Sophie's choices, right? And at the end of the day on Friday, you had to choose between Smashing Pumpkins and Charlie XCX. And I really, against everyone's advice, I put Smashing Pumpkins aside and saw Charlie XCX, and it might have been one of the best festival performances I've ever seen.
I saw your tweet about it. It definitely moved you, and that's very good. David Fleming is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. The last time we spoke, by the way, I hope your book went well. Big Mess in Texas, about the 1952 Dallas Texans. But we have a big mess over here in Chapel Hill, and that's why we spoke. Now, I guess it was, I don't know how many months ago. I think it was probably during the football season. Now, you're not surprised that it has not gone well from a job performance standpoint with Michael Lombardi. How much of this news about an HR violation has surprised you? I mean, beyond the football.
Yeah, I remember one of the last things we said to each other when we talked during the football season was, it's probably things can't get worse, right?
Right.
and they absolutely continue to get worse. And I'm really shocked and saddened by whatever this news is. I mean, we don't know exactly what it is, and we probably should wait before jumping to any conclusions. But at the same day that's announced with Michael Lombardi, then the CSC investigation is announced, and it just continues to be. It's just a humiliating experience for UNC and for Tar Heel fans, and you can't even go one day of practice without the team sort of being a laughingstock off the field. It's awful.
David Fleming is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. And that's the thing I think we heard from Lee Roberts, the chancellor. And in some circles, Lee Roberts was criticized for his comments, but they, to me, sounded like somebody who is just embarrassed that football can't get out of his own way or get out of its own way. And I'm not sure that he's blaming any one particular person per se. Maybe you could. But that overall, the performance on the field doesn't justify the circus around it.
Yeah, let's say I think Vegas has put them at like 4.5 wins this year, which I think is generous. And let's say a miracle happens and they win 7 or 8 games. So now they've basically, after humiliating the university and all its alumni, they've gotten back to where they were before investing $60 million. I mean, I don't know how. I think what needs to happen are whoever made this decision to sort of bring in Michael Lombardi and Bill Belichick with obviously no oversight about if they were qualified for a college job like this and how much money they were going to pay. The people that are responsible for this, they have to be held accountable. I think that's what needs to happen next.
Seems to me, though, the person who did spearhead this is no longer in his role anyway, and it's John Pryor, who was the former chairman of the Board of Trustees. That and whatever money people behind him were the ones that spearheaded the pursuit of Bill Belichick, because if it were up to the old AD, I'm pretty confident that, it would have a new head coach probably would have happened a year earlier because it really needed to happen then, but that it would have been a guy with college football coaching experience, and that is not where they went. I want to ask you about Lombardi and his background in personnel, which I think we all know somebody in life who seems to always fall up. They're not really that good at their jobs, but because you've had that job before, you get the next one. I've worked for people in radio that had that, not here, not at this particular stop where I'm at now, but in a past iteration of my career. I've worked for people who, like, how did you get this job? You're not very good at it. And then you find out that he got the next job, which is somewhat surprising. Does Lombardi's reputation within the industry indicate somebody who would have easily made the transition to something a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it, right? He is a guy. He is the poster child for failing upward in a really competitive dues-paying industry, and I think that's why people were sort of quietly rejoicing about this latest news. And I don't know. This is what I don't understand about there must have been zero oversight because, again, what did people expect? I think the last time he was involved in personnel directly was, in 2013, and he he stayed in that job. He managed to keep that job for 13 months. And then since then, he had been sort of away from football. Nobody wanted to hire him in football. What did they expect would happen? And I think, I think if you look at his track record, Pablo and I discussed this, every time he's had some direct control over a roster, I think his winning percentage is like 30 to 30%, 40%. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing in Chapel Hill. It should not be a surprise to anyone based on his actual track record.
40%, though, would go over 4.5 wins this year, David Fleming. I'm just saying, I'm just doing the math, and 40% is like 5. And if Bill Belichick can massage 5 wins against this schedule with the group that he's got, I think he's coach of the year in the ACC. I'm only partially kidding. If they win 5 games, I will vote for Bill Belichick as coach of the year. David Fleming is here. There's a Belichick element here because Lombardi's his guy. And I don't know what your inroads are with Bill, but you think Lombardi is Bill's guy because Bill thinks he's really good at his job, or because Lombardi won't challenge Bill?
Yeah, I think that's getting back to Lombardi's resume. I think his greatest asset is that he learned how to buddy up and stay loyal to Belichick. And I mean, if anything, Belichick has proven right that there's nobody wants to work for him. If you just look at the staff that he put together, again, you keep hearing from people in the game that the word laughable keeps coming up, and it hasn't really gotten any better. And so I think what you see with Belichick is loyalty is his most important quality, and no one's been more loyal than Michael Lombardi. And I am actually, you and I we're joking, but we're not joking. But you're right. If he gets to 5 wins, let's say, what if he gets to 6 wins?
My gosh!
Now all of a sudden, they're probably both getting a raise and a 5-year extension, and we're going to be talking about this disaster for a couple more seasons. It's a nightmare situation.
It'll be Bill Belichick Memorial Stadium in Chapel Hill if they get to 6 wins. David Fleming. I've sort of joked. Pablo Torre finds out, UNC correspondent, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. It is a little bit. You sort of alluded to it, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to take any pleasure away or out of somebody's whatever personal or personnel issues have gone on in Chapel Hill. But it does seem like there's a lot of people in the college football ecosystem that are taking the opportunity to dunk on Michael Lombardi at this point. Do you think that was over the top, or do you think that had been bubbling under the surface?
No, I was shocked at, especially even, when you're reporting a story like this, especially with somebody with as much power and connections as Belichick, normally nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to say anything. And the minute you mention that, we're actually sort of investigating Lombardi, it was like all of a sudden every email and every phone call was being returned. And we were kind of like, that's a pretty strong indicator as well. And then when the episode came out, we got a lot of feedback from people who were like, thank God somebody has finally sort of dug deep or, just looked into this guy. And I don't think this is a strong statement, but I think people in the game, especially, there's a stolen valor aspect with the Super Bowl rings that he claims to have gotten and continues to sort of claim on his resume. And I think that, it's kind of what you were saying about sort of failing upward in a business where, people sleep on cots in their office for 10 years to get the kind of opportunities that were just handed to Lombardi. And then he creates a roster that gets 4 wins and 0 NFL prospects. And and is making $1.5 million. It's, I think a lot of people enjoyed watching the downfall of not just him, but Bill Belichick as well.
Yeah, it's what a star turn this whole thing will end up being. Again, I wish that North Carolina will be a much improved team from a year ago. It will be difficult to not be better because they were really dreadful. They did get better defensively over the course of the season, but the offense was always an issue. We're not going to be able to tell this year because the schedule is, I don't know how many fold more difficult in this season than it was in last season. Like I can look at it and see 2-10, and that would be embarrassing for Bill because I don't think they'll continue this if Bill can't produce something more. I mean, I think if he wins 4 or 5 games, I think he's definitely going to get a third year. But I don't see 4 or 5 wins.
That's crazy, and I think you're right. And I do worry, like we talked about. I think the people who really are responsible for this debacle, the people, the trustees and the chancellor and everybody, I worry that they're going to hold on and give him every opportunity to sort of prove them right. And like you said, if they end up with 2 or 3 wins, he's got to go. If they keep him. And they just sort of let UNC continue to be laughed at. That's a huge mistake at any price, I think.
David Fleming. Pablo Torre finds out, UNC correspondent at Flemfile on Twitter, author of A Big Mess in Texas, The Miraculous, Disastrous 1952 Dallas Texans, and the craziest untold story in NFL history. Maybe one day you'll write a book about what we've just had here for the last 2 years. David, I appreciate your time. I'm glad you survived Lollapalooza.
Yeah, you forgot Charlie XCX fan in my bio, but that's okay. Next time. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care, David. David Fleming here on the Adam Gold Show. Charlie, I have no idea. You don't know who Charlie XCX is?
I know who Charlie XCX is. I wouldn't say I'm a fan.
Well, I would know that. I definitely would agree that you're probably not. I know,
I do know her music, though.
Oh, it's a her?
Yes.
I would have not guessed that.
Charlie with no E. CHARLI.
If you had told me the spelling.
XCX.
If you had told me the spelling, I would have gotten that it's a she. I have no clue. All right, we'll rewind. Also, when we come back, a ranking and a rehiring. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you taking care of someone on Medicare? Navigating Medicare can be overwhelming. You're not alone. The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program can help you figure out what steps to take and when. SHIP counselors can answer your questions. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
If you want the nation's best auto insurer, look no further than North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Rated #1 in Crash Network's Insurer Report Card 7 years in a row, we're the only insurer in the nation to receive an A+ rating from auto body shops. Our philosophy is simple: be fair, be quick, be the best. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go! Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Chocolate Lava Cake is a mountainous eruption of flavor. Classic vanilla ice cream loaded with rich chocolate cake pieces, rivers of chocolate sundae sauce, chunks of dark chocolate, and a deep fudge swirl. Prepare yourself for an earth-shaking experience.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most: your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what do we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorn on the ones and twos. Before we get to anything else, and we'll rewind, but I want to talk a little bit about the Carolina Hurricanes here, and will be a podcast tonight, 9:30. Johnny Lazarus from Daily Faceoff is going to join me. We're going to talk about the Hurricanes, how they stack up in the East, what has happened around the NHL, Alexander Nikishin's potential contract ask, all of that. 9:30 live YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search Canes Corner Podcast, or subscribe to it right now so you'll be ready when it begins. North Carolina looking to ratchet up the entertainment value of a home football schedule. There are 6 games in Chapel Hill starting September 12th against East Tennessee State. And there are pregame concerts in front of all six home games. So, do you know who DJ Diesel is, Max?
Isn't that Shaquille O'Neal?
It is Shaquille O'Neal. Will be performing prior to UNC's game against East Tennessee State. If I'm not mistaken, that's a noon kickoff. I think that's a noon kickoff. I could be wrong, but I think it was a noon kickoff. Anyway, Shaquille O'Neal. Not going to lie, that's fascinating. October 3rd against Notre Dame, Chase Rice, who was a football player at UNC, country star. Star might be doing a lot of work there, I don't know. October 24th against Syracuse, Parmalee. It's kind of old school, isn't it? Parmalee? I think it's kind of old school. October 31st against Miami, Neon Trees. I couldn't have a clue what that is. Do you have any idea what Neon Trees is?
The name's familiar. I think I know a song. Yeah, they have the one song it's like 2011. That was pretty good.
There you
Everybody
go.
Talks.
Okay. Maybe they'll just play that. November 14th, Louisville. Waka Flocka Flame. It's pretty good. And November 28th against NC State. Which of these does not belong? 38 Special. I don't know. I find that funny.
It's not really a common thread across those three.
38 Special. All right. Against NC State. Somehow I think that's a shot. I think that's North Carolina taking a shot at NC State, and I'm not here for that. Yes, I am. I'm here for all of it. That's cool. All right, so NHL.com did their, and they do this in the summer. The summer is a time for lists, and they put out their top 20 wingers, and according to the National Hockey League, the top 20 wingers in the NHL do not involve any Carolina Hurricanes. And I think it was Tim Donnelly brought that to my attention this morning. And did you guys talk about it at all last week? But he brought it up to me this morning, and I'm like, all I could think of was who the top winger is for Carolina. And it was like, all right, Seth Jarvis. I think he is the top 20 winger in the NHL. And he did not make the list. No Hurricanes made the list. If I was making a list, I'll give you my top 5 Hurricanes wingers. And they are in order: Seth Jarvis, Nick Ehlers, Jackson Blake, Andrei Svechnikov, and then Taylor Hall. Those are the 5 best wingers in order for the Hurricanes. I would have put Jarvis in the top 20, and there are several players in there that I would put Jarvis over. But understand that once you get past the top, 8 or so, let's just say number 11 through number 30, not a ton of difference between those two players, and it becomes really beauty in the eye of the beholder. But I would have had Jarvis on that list. Certainly over, a Cutter Gauthier, who's a wonderful player, right? Or trying to think, Martin Necas. Necas scores a lot, but Jarvis is a better player. Jarvis help you win more than Necas will. Not that Necas isn't wonderful. I love him, but I'd rather have Seth Jarvis than Martin Necas. I'd rather have Seth Jarvis than Kyle Connor of Winnipeg. Again, not saying that Kyle Connor's not really good. He is. Outstanding player. I just think that these things are measured almost always by points and no other factor. No other factor. And when you get to that, like Brandon Hagel wouldn't be on this list if Hagel didn't score a bunch of points. But he does. Multiple 30-goal scorer now. But he's also a penalty killer, a grinder, a physical player, sometimes crosses the line. That's okay. And that's why he's on this list. But I think Jarvis is a better player than that. When we do the Sebastian Aho, the centers, top centers, Aho will be on that list. Because, there's fewer centers than there are wingers. And Aho maybe has had more time to establish, his place in the pecking order among centers in the league. It'll be interesting, though. By the way, what position does Macklin Celebrini play?
Center.
He is a center. He'll be definitely on the list. Connor Bedard will be on the list.
Will Connor Bedard be on the list?
Oh, I think he will be.
Top 20?
I think Bedard will be on the list.
I think if you factor in potential, sure, but in terms of like current form,
right? But I mean, Aho's a better center right now than Connor Bedard. But points win. By the way, the number 1 winger in the NHL, Nikita Kucherov. It's hard to argue with that, right?
For some reference on the center ranking, last year, Celebrini was already at 19. Aho was 13th on that list. And number 1, obviously, Connor McDavid.
Would you rather have Seth Jarvis or Brady Tkachuk?
Jarvis.
Would you rather have Seth Jarvis or Lucas Raymond of Detroit?
Probably Jarvis, but that one's a little closer to me.
Jarvis or Clayton Keller?
Probably Jarvis.
Yep. See, I think Jake Gensel is outstanding. I think Jake Gensel should be higher on this list than 16. I'd rather have Gensel than Natchez. I'd rather have Gensel than Kyle Connor. Heck, I make an argument that William Nylander doesn't belong on this list anymore. At some point, your inability to produce and be there for your team on a regular basis has to factor in.
Especially in the playoffs.
So, Nylander, as with many of these lists, it takes a while to cycle off of them, right? All right, one more thing, and this speaks to something we have been talking about today. But I just want to briefly go back to what happened on Saturday when Tarik Skubal was traded from the Tigers to the Dodgers. And I'm just going to bring this up very quickly, and then we'll rewind. As soon as the Dodgers acquired arguably the best pitcher on the market, if not the best pitcher, one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he has been over the last several years, but he hasn't had a great year this year. That's why baseball needs a salary cap. So I want, if you are a that's why baseball needs a salary cap person, and I don't think ill of you, I think a tremendous PR campaign has been driven by management through media that might not know better. Because it's very simple. All these other sports have it. Why can't baseball? So let me just ask this question. How would it have helped the Marlins or the White Sox or the Guardians or the Brewers if there were a salary cap? How would it have helped them do exactly what the Dodgers did? And the answer is, it would not have. There isn't an economic system that would have pushed these teams towards pursuing, going all in, pushing their chips to the middle of the table and saying, we are trying to win now. The argument I got back was, well, the Dodgers can afford to give away these prospects because they can just go out and replace them through free agency. That isn't really how it works. The Dodgers have, by the way, a lot of their own prospects already on their team. The reason why the Dodgers are really great, is because they enhance their roster with high money free agents. It's not like the Dodgers generate their own talent and they let the players that they don't really value, they let them go. There are Dodgers all over, former Dodgers all over the big leagues and have been for some time. And they left for big money elsewhere. The Dodgers sometimes let their own guys go. Remember when, was it Corey Seager? Remember Corey Seager? They allowed him to go. They had Trey Turner. They allowed him to go. Trey Turner was not there originally, but they traded for him, used him, let him go. The White Sox or the Marlins or the Pirates, any one of these teams could have had Tarik Skubal. Would it cost you some prospects, which chances are that those prospects aren't going to be what you think they are. But it's a lottery ticket. We don't want to give the lottery ticket away on the off chance that it hits big, on the off chance that it becomes Paul Skeens. But here's the thing. In the way it works in baseball now, if you are an uber prospect, you're already in the big leagues. They don't waste time anymore. They don't season you for a lot of reasons, which are okay. They don't season you in the minor leagues very often. It used to be, well, we need 1,500 at bats for a hitter before we know he's going to be a big leaguer. Nope. They're going to bring you to the big leagues as soon as possible. Start your clock after making you sit in the minor leagues for an additional 3 weeks, so you don't earn enough service time to qualify for bigger contracts. After they already artificially tamp down your salary, like Major League Baseball and a salary cap, it just will not do what you think it does. All the salary cap does is hold costs down, which are great for companies. It's great for the business side, but it doesn't help you win. And if the whole goal is to win, well, then a salary cap isn't the way to do it.
Oh, well, little MLB trade just happened. The Red Sox just traded for Adley Rutschman from the Orioles.
Look at that. They needed a catcher, right? There you go. Good for them.
He hasn't been very good this year, but
no, he is not.
We know he's a good player, though, and he's still young.
So nobody will bitch about this. Nobody's going to complain about, the Red Sox. It's the Dodgers. That's the problem.
Their sweetheart TV deal.
Yeah, well, I don't know what Major League Baseball's legal recourse can be there. But it's a terrible deal for the league that the Dodgers essentially are treated like paupers still with their local TV package. There should be about $65 million a year more going into shared revenue. And regardless of whether or not that would help the Pirates, the Dodgers having $65 more million in their profit, stash allows them to throw more money out. So that's one thing that has to be dealt with. All right, let's rewind. All right. David Hale covers the ACC for ESPN. We talked about a lot of different things, but I asked him about NC State's prospects this year. The schedule, friendly. We're going to find out in the first few weeks. Obviously, they open at Virginia. That's not easy. They have a trip to Nashville to take on Vanderbilt. Also not easy. But if NC State can go 4-1 early, they could have a pretty good year.
There is, and look, I don't know that. I would say honestly, the biggest difference I've seen in NC State is Dave Doran. I was about to say Dave Doran wouldn't want me saying this, but he really seems chill this year, which is a whole different side of Dave Doran. And I don't know whether it's just like he's been here long enough; it's not worth the fight anymore, or he knows he's holding pocket aces and he's not trying to give it away. I will say, those 3 games you mentioned, it's the opposite of the Louisville thing. NC State's going to have a significant quarterback advantage, in my opinion, in all of those 3 games. The Virginia one is so fascinating to me because I think if you want to build out what is the comparison point for NC State this year, it might be Virginia last year, because there's a lot to like about the team, a veteran quarterback, a team that had been sort of preaching we need to take the next step, and then a schedule that, at least on paper, looked incredibly accommodating. Well, Virginia's schedule is pretty accommodating this year, too, again, frankly. But NC State's, I think if you look by ESPN strength of schedule metrics, which take those for what you will, Virginia has the second easiest. The easiest is NC State. And so, look, we've all been down the road of buying into the NC State hype before. I understand the reticence. And frankly, my biggest questions for them come at the line of scrimmage. Like, how good are they on both sides of the line of scrimmage? I think they're above average. We'll see how much above average. And then how healthy can they stay? And this is another thing that Dave has said numerous times when I've talked about him. They have a budget that will allow them to put a very good football team on the field in week 1 every year. What they don't have is a budget that allows them to have the depth to withstand significantly bad injury luck throughout the year. But that's also the upside to another easy schedule. The easier your schedule is, the more blowouts you have, the more you can rest guys, the less they're getting beat up over the course of a season. Sometimes those things, it's not just that it was easier to beat the teams, it's that you preserve your health for another week and another week and another week.
And you know what would really help this? And this speaks to it's almost a philosophy. For most of Dave Doran's tenure, they have been a little bit on the conservative side offensively, but I think they have tried to become more dynamic and pile up some points. If you can do that, if you can get ahead of the game, and maybe especially against teams that you should beat, get to a point where your best players don't have to play all 4 quarters. Maybe it just gives you a couple of players extra when the season gets towards the back end of October. And again, NC State's schedule eases up in the back. It's going to be more of an issue in terms of the quality of opponents early on. I was just looking at schedules, and it plays a big role. I wouldn't be completely shocked if Cal got off to a great start. I don't think Cal's great. I mean, I think Cal and NC State are fairly similar, I think, in terms of maybe NC State's a little bit better. But Cal also has a friendly schedule, which could enable them. I mean, I don't think it's crazy to think that, man, Cal could be maybe undefeated, 7-0, going into their game. I believe it's I think it's at SMU, but it's against SMU. Could Cal be 7-0 into October? It's kind of crazy. It's just silly. It's silly to even think about that. Anyway, all right, so tomorrow on the program, we're going to talk a little bit. Gary Williams of 5 Clubs Golf is going to join us. And we're not going to talk about the downfall of Liv. That stuff is I'm almost tired of having those conversations because I think I answered the question the other day. I don't think it's going away. I think they're going to regenerate in some form. But the Wyndham is going to have one of the best fields in golf that isn't an elevated event or a major. It is a great field, and it's the last field in the regular season on the PGA Tour. Max, see you tomorrow. Bye.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The